Welcome to the OnlyMotors archives, where we'll share with you our motoring experiences.
Let's see what lies in store.
Because we love cars.
This one, it kicks like a mule.
We're taking you to all the places a petrolhead loves with the help of our knowledgeable experts.
Only problem is, I've no idea what I'm supposed to be reviewing.
Whoa! What the hell's that?
Meet the biggest enthusiasts in the industry.
You heard it here first. Chris Evans no longer has white Ferraris.
Don't have a single white Ferrari.
Motoring madness.
This is where all the magic happens.
So they're terrible at parking, so look for a car that's pretty outrageous that he's parked across 2 bays, like that.
Fun, speed, passion, all in one place. The OnlyMotors archive. Hello and welcome to the archives. On today's show, we have got the Volkswagen Beetle, the BMW 1M, the Mercedes C-Class and some outtakes. But first, it's time to drive the Volkswagen Beetle, a car with over 60 years of history in it. Let's see if this one is the best yet.
Volkswagen means people's car, and it's been around since before the Second World War. The idea behind VW was to create a car that could carry 3 children and 2 adults in comfort. It should also be practical and inexpensive. The VW Beetle was the end product. The car starred in the Herbie movies and is particularly remembered for The Love Bug, the first in a series of comedy films that starred a 1963 VW racing Beetle named Herbie. The fictional Beetle can lock and unlock his own doors, flick his headlights, honk his horn, pop wheelies, drive himself, and even split in 2 when necessary. But moving back to reality, the VW Beetle has evolved into this stylish creature here. It's basically designed to take on the Mini and the Citroën DS3. There aren't many automakers that can boast a car that's been around 70 years and 22 million sales to its name. But if there's one, it's Volkswagen. The Beetle is characterised by a retro look, blended with modern mechanical parts, a classy interior and sporty handling. The VW Beetle of today is only available as a 3-door and it comes in a variety of specs. This one is quite a high one. This is the VW Beetle Sport. Comes with a nice spoiler, nice roof, amazing retro alloy wheels, but under the engine is a 1.4 TSI turbocharged and supercharged engine that churns out 158 brake horsepower. It's very easy to trace the VW Beetle back to the original. The main difference is the engine is now in the front and not the back. And this particular Beetle is very muscular and it's far more aggressive looking than the Beetles of old. It's got a sharper roofline and it sits wider and lower on its haunches. Altogether, the car is very fitting for 2014. Inside, the Beetle generally has more of an upmarket feel than its predecessor. The only thing to let it down is this great slab of scratchy plastic here at the top of the dashboard. That can be forgiven though, because the car has very supportive seats. It's got a nice leather flat-bottomed steering wheel. The seats are very practical at the back. They split 50-50, and the boot is larger than, say, an Audi A1's and considerably bigger than the Minis. So, as I said, this car is available with lots of different specs. This is the range-topping sport model with these wonderfully retro 2-tone 18-inch alloy wheels, body-coloured rear spoiler and very funky tinted rear windows. This VW Beetle shares its underpinnings with the Volkswagen Golf Mark 6, so it's no surprise at all that this car drives very well indeed. The steering is well weighted, it's got good handling, good body control, And there's a sense of sportiness all round. Strange that, seeing as this is the VW Beetle Sport. The 1.4 TSI engine is sharp and responsive, and the economy isn't too bad either. I've been getting around 40 to the gallon. Generally the car is refined and responsive, and the 6-speed manual gearbox I have here is fine, although there is a double clutch DSG option, which I think I'd rather have had on this test car. The Beetle will never be as practical as traditional family hatchbacks, but it does a good job of outperforming rivals such as the Mini in this area, which is where it matters. Indeed, the Beetle offers more boot space than the Audi A1 and a lot more than the Minis. The cabin boasts plenty of stowage areas, including centre console cup holders, 2 glove compartments and very deep door bins. And while we're driving along, I might as well talk about safety. It's no surprise that this car has got the 5-star Euro NCAP safety badge, meaning that it couldn't really be any safer in today's world. It's got 6 airbags, it's got stability control and all sorts of other gadgetry to basically stop you going off the road if you drive like an idiot. So this Beetle really has everything that you'd expect from a modern car, but has that kind of retro styling that I think is going to make this a continuing hit. So, this VW Beetle might not have the character or the humour of Herbie, but it does have one thing in common, and that's sporting talent.
Right, well that was the Volkswagen Beetle, a very good car in its sports trim and definitely the best Beetle yet. It's now time for another car that may be the very best version of itself yet and one of the best in its incredibly competitive class. This is the all-new Mercedes C-Class.
Opting for a Mercedes-Benz can be an obvious choice. This C-Class can just about justify its 34 grand price tag, but it won't necessarily make you stand out from the crowd. However, it's a much better and more elegant proposition than the previous generation, if refinement and luxury is what you're after. As with so many cars, this Mercedes C-Class is bigger in all the right places over the old model. In the real world, this translates into a little bit more cabin space, while visually the car looks more beefy and not unlike the flagship S-Class. And in keeping with the top-of-the-range model, the C-Class is now jam-packed with more high-tech kit. This does a lot to highlight the German company's yearning to move the C-Class upmarket. Of course, if predictable, boring efficiency is your main priority when buying or choosing a car from the old company car list, then this C220 Blue Tech is obviously a great choice. However, if you're not doing much mile munching, then go for a petrol model. They're actually slightly more exhilarating. On the road, the C-Class lacks the crisp handling of a BMW or Audi, but the Merc can still prove entertaining. This one will do 145 miles per hour with 0 to 60 arriving in 7.4 seconds. Boot space on this Mercedes C220 is pretty massive too, but rather than just tell you about it, we thought we'd put it to the test. Now, although the new C-Class has stacks of kit as standard, you can still spend thousands of pounds on the options list. Just be careful that your choices don't cheapen the car later in life. But when all is said and done, if you're seeking opulence in a compressed package, then the C-Class is hard to turn your back on.
Right, so that was the Mercedes C-Class, and before that we had the Volkswagen Beetle. Two very good cars in their respective classes, and a great example of the current state of German cars. After the break, we've got another German car with the BMW 1M, we've also got the Nissan X-Trail, and plenty of outtakes. See you in 5. Welcome back to the archives. It's now time for a somewhat controversial car. When the BMW 1M was launched, it had a backwards name, turbochargers, and an engine from a 7 Series. But BMW insisted it was a proper M car. So we got behind the wheel and found out for ourselves if the 1M is a proper M car.
When BMW first announced that they were going to do an M version of their budget coupe, the 1 Series, I was terrified. And not because I'm worried about the brand identity of arterial motorways, but because they might have called it the M1. And the BMW M1 was the thing of legend, a proper GT endurance racing car built for Le Mans. But enough of that, they didn't call it the M1, they called it the BMW 1 Series M Coupe, which is a bit of a mouthful, but crucially puts this car alongside the unique and very brutal bread van versions of the Z3 and Z4, of course the M Coupes, and they were very good cars. So my question is, does this car deserve to be put alongside those cars, and does it deserve to wear an M badge? Is this a proper BMW M car? Now I'm going to start by telling you all the things that I think support my argument that this isn't a proper M car, because I'm pretty sure once I turn that key and start the engine, it will convince me that it is. BMW are very good at that. So first up, it's got a turbo. Not only one turbo, it's got 2 turbos. An M car with turbos. So you lose that butterfly noise and the instant response of the throttle and the high revs. Think of a V8 from an M3 or a V10 from those M5s. That doesn't work for me, at least on paper. And then secondly, M cars always had amazing looking engine covers. But this one looks rubbish. Looks like it's out of a Vectra with a BMW badge on it. But here's the big one. This car is a Heinz 57 Special. It's a parts bin combination. It's a combination of loads of different BMW cars, and not even just M1s either, which is the biggest problem for me. Yes, the suspension and the brakes are BMW M3, which is great for man bingo, but the engine is out of a Z4, and a Z4 that they took the M badge off. Now I know everybody's trying to cut costs, and development costs are pretty high, particularly if you're in BMW's M department. But if you are going to borrow an engine from another car in the range, why not borrow the V8 from the M3? I'm sure it would fit. It would definitely fit just along here. Yeah. Why didn't they use it? Inside the cabin, the BMW 1 Series M Coupe is quite understated. It's not my thing, but I can't slate it because for most people, that's actually a good thing. I'll tell you what though, the Alcantara dash coverings, the M Sport badges and bits of trim that you see around the place actually do a good job of making that 1 Series interior a little bit more exciting, because it was dire. Remember the orange seat trim? Yikes. Anyway, moment of truth. Does this car deserve or belong to be in the M car stable at BMW? Let's see. You know, considering this car has 2 turbos, there's remarkably very little turbo lag, which you would expect. It doesn't quite have that sharp, raspy response though on the throttle, like an E36 or an E46 M3, almost like the throttle pedal knows what your right foot is going to do before you do it. Being a BMW though, you'd expect it to be clever, and it is. There's an electronic, mechanically locking diff, which does an awfully good job of putting the power through those rear wheels and onto the tarmac. Really is so good to drive. One thing I'm really excited about in this 1 Series M Coupe though, it's actually quite basic. It has a gear stick. I can administer those brilliant gear ratios, and they are good, with my hand. One thing I hate about the new generation of sports cars and supercars particularly is that most of them don't have the option of a manual gearbox anymore. I know for most people that's great, but I quite like playing with these gears myself and not having to flick a lever and wait for the inevitable delay while the engine and gearbox have a word with themselves. Well, I have to say and admit that I'm beaten. Despite my initial gripes, this car is actually very good. 2002, I drove an E36 BMW M3 to Le Mans, and the rawness of this 1 Series M Coupe actually takes me back to that driving experience. You know, this might be a parts bin special. It might be a load of parts borrowed from other BMW models and put together in some sort of muddled order. But the wizards in the M department at BMW have done a pretty good job of making them all feel that they were designed to work together in the first place. You know, when this car first came out, I read quite a lot of press to say that it didn't look very good. For me, the best part of this M Coupe are those flared arches. For me, this car justifies the 1 Series very existence. And if you ask me, that car was designed to wear the M badge.
So there we go. Despite being somewhat of a parts bin special, the BMW 1M is in fact a proper M car. It's now time to slow things down a little, but not too much, because the guy we're about to meet is one of the main reasons behind one of the fastest track cars in the world. This is Simon Saunders of Ariel.
I'm Simon Saunders, I'm one of the directors. I'm also the guy that started doing the Atom, so I'm sort of the founder of the new Ariel, I guess you could say. My background is in automotive design, so I've worked for big manufacturers like General Motors, I've worked for small manufacturers like Aston Martin. So I've also worked for very high volume and very low volume people, so I'm a trained designer. I also used to teach automotive design as well. So when we did the Atom, some of that was actually putting your money where your mouth is. So that, and I've always been interested in the low volume car industry. We tried to do work a long time ago for some of the low volume manufacturers. Got slightly frustrated, so part of the Atom is we just decided to do it ourselves. So it's, you know, it's something that we can be proud of, and maybe there's a bit of, a long time ago, a bit of schoolboy, you know, I was always drawing cars and always wanted to see a car that I designed on the road, so you know, this is kind of like a grown-up realisation of that, I guess. I mean, I'd say I'd worked for a lot of big and small companies. I was a freelance designer. I was also teaching automotive design at university level. So we were doing bits of design for outside companies. Sometimes they weren't that interesting. A lot of the projects, a lot of automotive projects get so far and then they die. So I wanted to see us create something of our own that we would actually see through to fruition, and we could control every aspect of it. So it was something that was all our own, if you like, and would go onto the road. So it was, originally it was to slightly balance out the design side, but obviously it's taken over from that now. So although we still do design work for other people, the manufacture of the cars and now the motorbikes is obviously the prime thing of the company. I mean, my original love is motorbikes, which is why you can see a lot of motorbike in the Atom. And in fact, the Atom's probably the only car that when you pass a motorbike, they give you a nod and a wave. But I think, you know, my original, you know, when I was a teenager, what bikes and cars gave me was freedom. You know, it was just freedom to move, freedom to go, freedom to experience speed. And I think one of the great things about bikes and the Atom, you have to drive them. It's not full of driver aids like a modern car. So you have to get in it and concentrate. And one of the great things about these sort of cars is when you're driving them, you leave all your worries behind. So it's quite therapeutic. I'm not saying you should buy an Atom for the therapy side of it, but it's that kind of emotional thing. And I think a lot of modern cars, no matter how good they are, they're quite uninvolving and they're quite unemotional. So you can look at, I'm not going to name cars, but you can look at a lot of production cars, which are very, very, very good, but they just don't get you there. You know, there's no emotion. And I think when you talk to motorcyclists, people who have these cars, it's that passion that they've still got for motoring, as opposed to something that is becoming more like a white good every day. So
that was our chat with Simon Saunders of Ariel. It's now time for a break, but do come back afterwards as we have the OnlyMotors presenter initiation in the form of a driving test examined by someone who doesn't drive. We also have the Nissan X-Trail review and the outtakes. See you in 5. Welcome back to the archives. Coming up, we still have the Nissan X-Trail review and the outtakes, but it's time for the OnlyMotors presenter initiation, where we test the abilities behind the wheel and in front of the camera of a new presenter. I haven't had to do this yet, but it was a tradition that was there before I arrived.
Well, hello.
Hello. Bit wet.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you.
Angie,
To say hello.
buckle up.
All right, so I don't just have a female driver taking me out. It's irrelevant whether it is female or not. I say it, I don't mean it like that, sorry. I'm a bit nervous because, you know, this is the first time that on OnlyMotors we've had a potential female presenter. So hello.
Hello.
So your name is?
Danielle
Danielle what?
Christie.
Okay, oh no, that's a very nice name. That kind of, to me, sounds like you should be writing novels about the 1900s. So
I should indeed.
So Danielle, once again, here on OnlyMotors, they always do this thing where if we get a new presenter, they send me out to kind of put them through their paces, as it were.
Lovely.
Why they send me, I don't know, because once again, as always, people know this, I know nothing about cars, I don't really drive or anything, but they've sent me, I think it's the reason possibly behind it is they're trying to get me pushed out so they can have people who actually know what they're talking about. But
Right.
yeah, as long as I get paid while I'm doing this, it's like it works up before I go and get my dole again. So I'm happy about that. So, all right then, Danielle, what I failed to tell you is that, like, in these kind of things, because I'm not a professional driving examiner, but I have acted in the past, I'm going to put on a bit of a persona.
Got it.
Just so you can get used to, you know, the character, right? So I'm just going to get out and then I'll get back in again, if that's all right.
You do whatever you need to do.
Okay,
darling.
thanks. It won't take long, seriously. I just gotta, you know, get into character. I'm a bit method actor. I just gotta find where.
You're on meth.
No, method actor. There's a slight difference. Are you ready then? I'll be with you in a second.
God, this guy's on meth.
Hello, Danielle. Right. If you're ready for your OnlyMotors test, I believe you have a driving license, but this is just to make sure that you can do all the legal things required. If we'd like to go down here, keep going down. I don't want any of this moving hands over hands business. I hear
Right.
that's a problem, apparently.
Okay.
If yes, reasonable speed. Remember, the mirrors are your friends. Mirrors are your friends. Yes, not to do makeup
Oh,
or
sorry,
anything like
sorry.
that. The mirrors are your friends. Think of them as an extension of your hands, your arms, your feet, your legs, and your eyes. All important to when driving a car. So if we could probably speed bumps everywhere. This is really dull. If we could up the speed just a slight bit, because I do
Yes.
have to get back as I have a pot noodle that's just come out the microwave. Okay, it's lovely. First of all, we're going to do various things. The first test we're going to do is parallel parking. Okay?
Right.
I don't know whether I can keep this voice up, but I'll have a go. Yes, parallel parking, which obviously, as you should already be aware, being as you passed your test in 1999 and have been driving for quite a while, 15 years in fact, if my maths are correct. Parallel parking, it's all to do with parking parallelly, in a parallel way. What is
I
parallel
think I've
parking?
gone wrong.
Well, that might be a problem. What, you can't even get us to the car park on the first day?
What? He said turn left.
No, keep going. Yeah, keep going. Oh no, I'm coming out. hang
You're
on.
supposed to be
I have
telling
take-
me
I have-
directions.
I have to take the glasses off when I come out of character. Right, left down here.
Yeah.
My
I'm
paper's
just following
all
the
wet.
road round.
Yeah, isn't it? Oh, no, it's not that car park. I was
No,
just-
we're all right. We're all right.
Are we on a one-way street?
Yeah.
tell you
We're
what.
going over there.
I tell you what, this is a test, is an interesting one, but anyway, right, okay. I think I'll rock it in this area with these glasses on.
Oh, look, a squirrel.
So, what is parallel parking? Is that when you park in between two cars? No?
No,
Is that, what is it?
when you pull up next to a car and
Yeah.
you reverse back.
Oh, okay, right.
Oh.
See, right.
Yeah?
So,
Are we clear on that?
Yes, and I need you to parallel park. So if you'd like to parallel park
I will try.
wherever you think parallel parking is good. I believe the way to parallel park is, what did you say? Come
No,
up.
you need to come up against.
You come up against someone. You basically
No, you need to come up. We can't parallel park in here because there's not. And there needs to be a car, and you need to be
Hang on.
like
Who's the
this, and then back.
who's the driving instructor here? Oh no, well, examiner.
You've
maybe-
got the glasses.
So you need to reverse back into who?
Would you like me to reverse into a spot instead and not parallel park?
Yeah. What I'd like you to do is reverse park into a bay. I believe they call them bays, which is an actual car park. I've changed my mind because you were obviously very ratty about that. If I had a pen, I'd write down some points, but negative point on parallel parking. Can't parallel park because there was nowhere to parallel park.
Is parking in this disabled bay okay for you?
Yes, because we're not going to be here long, and also my mum's disabled, so I get kudos now and again. Right. Oh, I'm unsure about that. There was a slight skid there, Danielle.
And I've parked.
You have parked, but obviously it needs to be safe and legal. But all right, for that,
I can't promise you those two things.
I'm writing with a ruler, so I don't know why I'm doing that.
Here's my imaginary pen.
Okay, thanks. Right, now what I'd like you to do next, we're going to ignore parallel parking, because apparently you can't because it's not there, is it? Right? So I'd like you to drive up there,
Yes.
and then slowly keep driving down here, and at any time, I might hit that with my ruler. We're talking an emergency stop, okay? Right? So when I hit that with my ruler, you need to stop as quickly and as safely as possible. So if you'd like to go up there, and then come back down and give yourself a run up. So,
Okay.
Oh,
Ready?
okay, hang on, Daniel.
said-
hang
he
on.
said
Oh,
come.
well, ignore the cameraman. It's all about the test. So, emergency stop. When I tap like that, I want you to stop as safely and as nicely as possible. Imagine a little puppy has run out onto the road while carrying a baby on its back. I just want you to imagine how important it is to stop, okay? So if you like to go, and as soon as I hit that, you need to stop. Right, so we're traveling at speed, we're traveling at speed, we're traveling at speed. All right, Oh, give me voice then. What? All right.
Is it all right?
Yeah. Let me just make some notes with my non-existent pen. Okay. So unfortunately, the baby is fine, but the puppy, you did clip the puppy. But it's going to be fine. It would go on one of those pet shows, but they don't tend to do them anymore. All right then. Test going rather well. I think now we'll move to a different destination and try out some other tests.
Right, are you...
Yes. Now. Oh, right. Back to the test.
Are you disembarking?
Sorry. No, I'm getting out. Right,
That's what
I've got to get back into my character.
Sorry, go.
So Danielle, now we're going to do a 3-point turn. Unfortunately, you may see it's rather a tight area, but you know, in many OnlyMotors experiences, it can be quite tight. So I'm, as a trained professional, I'm going to get out and see if you can do this 3-point turn. If you could be quick about it, because it is chucking it down. So. Oh, there's a puddle as well. And a dead edge.
Here's a rubber dinghy.
I need a boat. Oh, man. Right, Danielle, away you go. Let's see this.
You want me to do a 3-point turn here?
Hurry up, I'm stood in cow's cack here.
I won't be able to do a 3-point turn here.
Yeah, go on.
No chance.
Please watch the wildlife.
I'm going to go further up and do one.
Are you supposed
I'm
to do
going
it there?
further up and do one.
What are you shouting at me for?
I'm going to do one
God,
here.
where do they get these random presenters? I'm sure they're not even proper presenters. They just decide to like get some random people and muck around. Oh, that's it. Just turn around on the field. This isn't a driving test. This is a driving mess.
Is there anything behind me?
Yeah, golfers.
A couple of ducks. See, that's still 1, 2, 3. I've done it.
Yeah, you have kind of destroyed the field, though.
Well, we better jet before they send the golf carts round.
Yeah, to be honest, it's probably best that we go. Well, I think that could possibly be the end of my career, and maybe yours, and the end of the test. So obviously I can't. I'm taking these off. They're doing my head in.
The Subaru, but I'll talk to you, but you don't.
Listen. What?
Oh, I should have turned off the traction control.
So you give me a lift home, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Fasten your safety
We're not
belt.
in any rush, you know.
Yeah. I'm not going to go too mental. It's raining.
Well, yeah, obviously, because you're a very safe and legal driver.
Better do the windows up.
Yeah. Oh, so nearly there at the office.
Do you need a sick bag?
No, I'm fine.
You seem to have lost some hair on your head.
Well, I like to use that to stick under my armpits for when I go abroad. What's this idiot doing here?
Don't know.
Oh, the horn works. Yeah, get out of the way. What's he? Is he? Oh, he's stopping.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. You know me, I'm a lover, not a fighter. I'm not suggesting either way, but you know. Is he getting
Gloves
out?
on.
Oh no, he's getting out. Right, hang on. I'm not a fighter, but what do you think you're doing, mate?
We've both got Scoobies. What the attitude about it? Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, what are you doing here?
You can.
Who are you?
What were you swearing for? The camera's here.
I mean, that's really bad, isn't it?
What? Why are we here? Why are you here?
Well, Jamie said come down this afternoon. So
Right.
I was burning in really sort of like thinking, come really late.
Well, this is a bit awkward because I'm busy testing another presenter. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. You know.
Nice wing.
yeah,
Nice wing, mate.
I like the
Nice.
we
words
thought
and yours,
we might go with
Well-
a female like person who knows what they're talking about, as well as just your average leather jacket wearing baldman.
It's nice to see, but it's not taking over my job or anything. Do you know what I'm saying?
Taking your job.
Yeah, it's not.
Why are you doing all that? Like,
Just trying to be diplomatic.
well, no, I have nothing to do with it. I'm just testing. I mean, look.
Awkward.
Well, it's a little bit awkward. You guys ain't got no hair.
Well,
Listen, lovely to meet you. Obviously, we'll be in touch. I'll see you later.
walking back now.
No,
Yeah.
I'll just leave you pair to it. You know, you pair sort it out. I'm gonna go this way.
Laters.
In fact, I'm gonna get in the cameraman's car.
Enjoy your big wing.
So that was the OnlyMotors presenter initiation, and if you have any ideas for the next presenter initiation, do not send them in because it will most likely be me that has to do it, and I don't want to have to do it. So it's now time for a break, but do come back because afterwards we have the Nissan X-Trail review and the outtakes. See you in 5. Welcome back to the archives. It's now time for another car review, this time with the Nissan X-Trail, a car that combines crossover characteristics with the functionality and practicality of the bigger SUV, all for affordable prices. So, is this new X-Trail better than its highly acclaimed predecessor?
The X-Trail has been produced by Nissan since 2001. It was the Japanese automaker's first crossover SUV and was released around the same time as many other companies competing in the same market. The X-Trail is positioned below the truck-based Pathfinder and slightly bizarrely was never offered by dealerships in the United States. It's a really popular car in Europe though, and this particular X-Trail was launched in July 2014. The only issue for some people is that it's only available with a 1.6 litre diesel engine. The 1.6 dishes out a decent 236 pounds per foot of torque, the same as the old 2 litre diesel in fact. That said, for those who like to pull, the towing weight falls from the old car's 2,200 kilograms to only 2,000. Never mind, because the benefit of the new engine, with front-wheel drive only, which our test car is its claimed fuel consumption of 57.6 miles to the gallon. That's pretty handy for such a large car. The same unit is noticeably quieter in its cousin, the Qashqai, which, despite being the cheaper model, actually feels like a higher quality product. You know, any driving satisfaction is ruined really by the overly soft suspension that makes the ride far less comfortable than it should be. You know, on the limit handling is affected too, but it's difficult to imagine that anyone buying an X-Trail is going to inspect the driving dynamics of this car that closely. The new style of the X-Trail is staggeringly more attractive than the last one. The old model wasn't ugly by any means, but this really brings it up to date. The only issue is that you've got thicker front A-pillars here, which can impede visibility. And also there's a bare minimum of glass at the back, which obviously affects reversing too. The new X-Trails start from 23 grand, but most people will pay more for that because the top two trim levels will probably account, I reckon, for 80% of sales alone. The N-Tech specification tested here includes 19-inch wheels, DAB digital radio, a power tailgate, roof rails, a round view monitor, forward emergency braking, and the decent Nissan Connect combination of satellite navigation, connectivity, and apps. So the high-ranging Techno models have heated seats and loads of other gubbins I won't bore you with. But you know what, if you avoid that, you can save yourself around 2 grand. You can save yourself a further £1,700 by going for the front-wheel only version too. So the driving experience of the new X-Trail may have taken a bit of a back seat. But you know what, overall it's a good-looking, efficient and very handsome family motor. And you can have this version here for 27 grand.
So that was the Nissan X-Trail, a great improvement by Nissan to make this generation even better than the already successful last gen. And I'll leave you with our final feature of this episode, which showcases our highly talented presenters messing up and not being so talented. I'm not actually in this one, but I do leave you with this final feature, the outtakes.
Are we filming now? Yeah. Literally, he doesn't even say go or...
Ready, go.
Okay, let me show you now. A quick press of the quadruple. Okay. Okay. Okay, let me show you. But more importantly, let me... Hang on. Okay. Okay, let me demonstrate. Okay. Okay, let me...
Get that in.
So we've interrogated him, we've distracted him, but we've got the boom in the way. The initiation continues, are you ready?
I am.
Are you up for it?
I am.
Well, this is all about, can you avoid this massive thing coming at you?
And if the S-Cross is anything to go by, it's only get... Can't speak today for some reason. I'll do that again anyway. Okay, let me do that again then. I'll do that again because of that car. Do that again because I've said Italian car maker 3 times. It's crap. Do it again.
You want to come in together a little bit?
Done this before. I think we made this in the end.
Another one.
No! Okay, Tim, you may wonder why we're stood in the middle of a road.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. Worry about the tractor. I may not be a driver, but I know when a car's going behind and going the other way as well. Okay, that's not going to get confusing, is it? But we have to stop because there's a van pulling and I can see it on Alex's face. So obviously he's going to have to do the whole thing again.
I might do that once more. Don't know, I might do that once more. Maybe once more? I'll do that. I'll do that once more.
Couldn't even organise a in the brewery, OnlyMotors. It's like, you know, get that donkey to pull a tank. It makes no sense.
Do it again.
Hey,
Do that again because I said sedan.
let's do it.
Again. Gives the whole experience. Hello. That was. Hang on.
Don't shoot in here, there's a dead body. Start grinding away, maybe reach under the kitchen sink for something. Oh, sorry. First rule of take 39.
Let me just turn my phone on and face.
So, traditional handcrafted delay. Can't speak in this beat, right?
I don't even know what the price is.
And record it.
I'm waiting for those pair to shut off. Sorry.
Okay, so let's press this start button. And nothing happens. Because Alex has got the key in his pocket.
All right, he's been interrogated, but I'm still not sure of it. Anyone called Tim's got to be a bit dodgy. Anyone driving around in circles in a car park needs to get away. I like what it takes for.
Full team, talk loud because
Yes,
you're far from the mic.
I will do. You'll pick it up, don't you mother worry.
I might do that once more.
Headstand. I don't think he's like filming now, I don't know. Apparently we're good.
I don't know, I might do that once more.
Literally, I've forgotten all my ideas, I'm just making this up as I go along.
Maybe once more.